Hello and welcome back to Zeroing In on Health, the video blog. My name is Charles Washington and thanks for joining me once again. In today's episode, we're going to deal with calories once again. You'll recall a few weeks ago when I did the video on calories, I was talking about we don't have a problem with the calorie in, calories out theory, especially if you're eating calories that are like in kind. For instance, if I eat 400 calories of a steak or 300 calories of a steak, then fine. You can plug that into the equation and you'll probably come out just fine. However, when it comes to different types of food, 400 calories is not the same. Is there a difference between 400 calories of cake and 400 calories of meat? We'll talk about that more later. For now, let's look at the latest headline. In New York, there's an issue with the labeling that happens in restaurants. The restaurants are required to put the number of calories next to the menu item on the menu. According to the latest headline, this is altering food choices. In the story, we're introduced to Alejandra Ramos. She's at Dunkin' Donuts and she's considering a muffin, which has 510 calories, versus a Chipotle burrito. She discovers that the burrito has way more calories than she would normally eat in half a day. And with the muffin, she ended up giving that to somebody on a train. So the menu labeling laws are popping up all across the country. If the healthcare reform bill passes, restaurants with at least 20 locations will have to post calories on menus. Other nutrition information like fat, sodium, and carbs will have to be in writing somewhere else in the restaurant, but not necessarily on the menu. So at Dunkin' Donuts, Ramos would have been better off between the apple cheese Danish or a ham, egg, and cheese on an English muffin, 350 calories versus 510. So according to proponents of this theory, you can save hundreds and thousands of calories by ordering just a little bit differently. For example, a glazed donut instead of a honey bran raisin muffin will save you 280 calories. And it seems that 80% of New Yorkers ordered differently when seeing calorie counts. More than half said it affected where they ate. But other experts argue that calorie counts will not achieve the desired effect. And I think I'm with them. So let me get this straight. In New York, they're having to decide in a restaurant between, say, a ham, egg, and cheese biscuit, which is going to be 325 calories, versus a cheese Danish, which it may be 325. So perhaps the Danish would have 25 calories less than the ham, egg, and cheese biscuit, and that's what's deciding the food choice. We could take this even further. How about a bag of Doritos? It's only 250 calories for a 50-gram bag. So we believe that this is more nutritionally sound than, say, that ham, egg, and cheese biscuit? I mean, this is ridiculous. Well, fortunately, there are some like-minded people in the world who also thought this was total nonsense. In the state of Connecticut, the Attorney General has launched an investigation into these so-called smart choices, the national food labeling program that endorses mayonnaise and sugar-laden cereals and other nutritionally suspect foods. Because if you're just going by calories, then you can make a choice between, say, a healthy breakfast or one that's loaded in sugar. And the people of Connecticut are outraged by this. There is a panel of experts somewhere that supposedly reviews these food choices, and based on the criteria that they use, they award the Smart Choices stamp to the food. This is supposed to assist parents grocery shopping so they can get nutritionally correct foods for their family. Now, according to Connecticut, these so-called smart choices seem nutritionally suspect, and the label is potentially misleading. The label adorns sugar-laden cereals appealing to children, but not many healthier breakfast choices. The investigation asks which scientific methods, research, or factual evidence justify labeling such products as smart. The Attorney General argues that indeed these foods, these sugary foods like Cocoa Puffs and Fruit Loops, they might be smarter than some fast food out there, but they're hardly smart. So they want an investigation to know, what criteria are you using? Did you actually research this? Did this actually come from studies? Did it come from science? Because on its face, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I repeat my challenge here. Anything, I mean, you take just regular fatty bacon and eggs. Eat those bacon and eggs for a week, and then eat sugary sugary cereal for a week and you see what it does to your weight. Sure, the sugary cereal might be less in calories, but what your body does with those calories is a far different thing. Sugary foods raise your blood sugar. Anytime your blood sugar goes high, that means your pancreas is secreting insulin in order to get that sugar moved into cells. Each time your body secretes insulin in that manner, that means fatty acids are being stored rather than mobilized. This is where calories in, calories out actually makes sense. It works in your tissues, not in your brain and not in your mouth. It's whether or not a person can mobilize more fatty acids than they store. If you are storing fatty acids, it's only because your insulin is raised. So consequently, if you don't want to store fatty acids, then you don't raise insulin. How do you not raise insulin? Don't eat carbohydrate food. Once again, this is Charles Washington with Zeroing In on Health, and thank you for joining me for my latest video blog. See you next week.